What's going on, guys? Evil Dragon here, back with another video. Today, guys, we are finally doing my Dead by Daylight ranking video. Now, I know I said I was going to do this like a month ago, month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I've been putting this off a long time because I had to get all the clips for the killers. But I'm here, I'm finally doing it, and we're going to jump right into what I think is the worst killer in the game. And, of course, now, before we do that, my opinion is going to be vastly different from, like, really extreme YouTuber streamers that play this game. And that's because I only have like 500 hours combined between PS4, PS5, and the mobile version, which we don't talk about the mobile version. But yeah, I just want to say that even though I haven't played as much as other people, and so my ranking is going to be vastly different, this is just based off of my opinion from me playing these killers. But with that out of the way, let's get into the worst killer in the game. Okay, so first up we have the Wraith. Now, I absolutely hate this killer with a passion. I think it's by far the worst. His power is mediocre. Obviously, his cloaking ability is pretty good in itself, but you do have to uncloak just to damage, grab, anything like that. You can see me here, like, it just takes so long, and obviously you get that speed boost after uncloaking. I know that. But I feel like the drop off between uncloaking and the speed boost is just not worth it because some people will have sprint burst if they're just walking, balance landing if they're by like a higher up vault or a dropping point, leaf and they're able to just get a speed boost, or even smash hit, hitting you and then immediately running away. That can always, like, or dead hard right there. That can always happen. His add-ons are pretty good. I'll give him that. Like, he can break stuff so much quicker. He can move a lot faster. His belt can be completely silent, but it doesn't matter when unless you're standing still. Like, you can see the movement pretty easily if you played Survivor enough. It's pretty easy. Perk builds, I haven't, like I said, I haven't played him that much, but with what I have played of him, I think he's absolutely the worst killer in the game. Now, next up, we have the Hillbilly. Now, the Hillbilly, I tried to play him. I played him a little bit more than the Wraith. I literally just tried to do a challenge with him, and he is so hard. Compared to Leatherface or Bubba, Leatherface is so much better. He's not as fast, but Leatherface can still move extremely fast if you know how to use him in the right add-ons. He can actually turn. Like, I'm sorry, even with the add-ons, the turn rate is awful. Like, winding up the chainsaw can take a lot longer. And going for like a long 20, 30 meter hit is absolutely dreadful. His perks can be really annoying. Like Tinkerer and Enduring are really good. Lightborn, I believe it's called, is not good at all. Because most, if you're a good killer, you just look away, you look up, you look down. You can avoid the flashlight altogether. Tinkerer, you get the undetectable status, which is pretty good. And Enduring, if you're doing like a Mimi build, with say Michael as an example, you can definitely use that to your advantage. But all in all, it is just not a good killer. I think like his chainsaw is bad. His add-ons are pretty bad, and you really have to play a lot to master him, which I haven't personally. So maybe that's being biased. But yeah, I just don't like this killer at all. I think he's gonna go right next to Wraith, just in front of him at the bottom. We're gonna call this the F tier ending over here. Starting off the E tier, we have Sadako or the Onryo. I did not like this killer at all. I really gave it the benefit of the doubt and was like, you know what, its power, while weak, is really cool. You can teleport like Freddy. You're definitely a lot better at stealth than the Wraith, and I gave her multiple tries. I got all of her perks. Her perks are amazing, especially the one where you get continuous skill checks, because using that with Unnerving Presence, you can go ahead and destroy a team absolutely, because then the gen's blocked, and if you have Ruin, it destroys the progress they made. Especially Tinkerer to get the undetectable status to move closer then with the unnerving presence. That's like the build I usually use. And it was a really good build, but her power is the worst power. Even with add-ons, like say when you're healing, you and the player you're healing both get 50% condemned if you're already condemned. Her power is not good. You have to go through like every TV just to make someone when they're down like moriable, and even then they can just get rid of like I think it's like 10, 15, 20% of their condemned with one tape being put into a TV, and then it removes that TV for so long. And yeah, I really try to give her the benefit of the doubt, but if it was like a passing grade as the D, she does not make it. She is, but she's not like the worst. She's an E tier though, in my opinion. And I think she would be up in maybe D/C tier, like the very bottom of C tier, or a really top D tier, if they gave her powers a lot more ability to be better. If they could make it more powerful, make it more condemned and less condemned taken away when you put the tape in, it should obviously be a lot better. But obviously, more in someone is quite the powerful ability, and that's why it's really weak, which really sucks because she had so much potential. Poor Ghostface rounding out our E tier. I know my F and E tiers are really small, but I really like this killer. I play him a lot. I have him prestige, like I can prestige him. I just want to get through all of his puddings and whatnot. But like, man, he is so bad. Even with the build that I like to use, which is now Pop, Thanatophobia, Thrilling Tremors, and all ears or whatever his other perk is that makes you see people when they vault. He's so bad because people just run, and yeah, like I'm an okay killer. I don't get looped that easily. Regardless, like I don't know what to say here. His add-ons are bad. I know they're really trying to nerf him, which is going to be, or sorry, buff him, which is going to be good. His add-ons specifically, combining a bunch of them, which would be really good to get his power back, faster stalking speed, better undetectable status, that sort of thing. And I know as well they're going to be upgrading his power slightly to where if someone's marked, they can't reveal you, but others still can. Like that's pretty good. But it just really sucks. Just because he's a lot of fun to use stalking everybody, or like it's not like Michael where everyone groups together for stalk. No, you get them individually. It's a really good power. But yeah, it's just maybe I'm bad at using it, but I never seem to get any like 4 kills, maybe 2 or 3. But his add-ons are bad. His perks are pretty good, except for one of them, which we don't talk about. I do like the Thrilling Tremors and I'm All Ears. Those are really good. But besides that, he's got nothing going for him at all, and it sucks. But he's going to round out our E tier here. Now, here's one of the points in a video where you already know it's going to get absolutely trashed on, because the Hag is loved near and dear by everyone, is by far the best gem protector and hook protector. But then you might ask, why am I putting her here? Because that's all she's really good at, and from what I've seen, she's good at guarding gens, especially with her perks being Ruin, Devour Hope, and Hex, the third seal. They're all hexes. And Hex the third seal, I've actually found some good use recently, but we'll get on to that later. Ruin, of course, is Ruin. Pair it with like any other Hex totem should guard it. It's amazing, especially Undying. And Devour Hope, I mean, you really got to try hard to keep that thing protected, but it can be useful. But her perks are good. She's good at protecting stuff, but I don't think she's good at overall chases. Like you really have to play it quite smart if you want to go ahead and get a 4K. She's there's not much to say about her because like I hate putting her this low. I don't really play her that much. I found her to be meh. Like she was but like just a passing grade in D. But yeah, her perks are good. Her add-ons could be a lot better from what I've seen. Like her add-ons are really just her traps, stunning longer, her pose being coming solid, but you can't teleport to them. She does not have a max teleport range like Freddy or Sadako, whatever, which really kind of injures her in the long run, I think. But yeah, that is one really bad thing about her is that she can't do damage, and most people carry a medkit now to heal, so they just heal up if you hit them. Yeah, that's where we're putting her at the start of the D tier. Now, guys, I just want to say that we've made it this far, almost 10 minutes in the video. I'm very thankful for all of you who have been waiting for this video. I know, like I said in my last video, the update about Minecraft, that I'm going to be posting when I want, what I want, and now, and I don't want to be getting as much hate, and I want but yeah, this video is going to get so much hate, because right here we have the Trickster. I love this guy. I prestiged him twice. I'm still playing him. Best build that I find is Save the Best for Last, Blood Warden, whatever his perk is that blocks the doors from opening, like No Way Out, and Iron Maiden, because his whole thing's lockers, and you really got to reload fast, keep your knives heavy. That's the build that I've found has really worked for him. similar to Huntress actually, a little bit different. But the thing that really weakens him is, unlike the Huntress's hatchets, or if you like spear gun someone with the Death Slinger and then hit him, his knives really, like, you really gotta chuck them a lot more. Hitting 6 in a row just injures them, and then you're obviously going to be missing quite a bit. So you could go through, just to knock down one person, you could go through over half your knives, or even through your knives if you're a new trickster. Um, his power is the main event, which is really cool. The only thing is, it has that one, I'm gonna call it a debuff, like that one feature that I think it's 25, 30 seconds after you get it. If you don't use it, it's gone, and you gotta hit all your knives again to get it back, which really sucks because it's a cool thing. He just spams all his knives out. But besides that, his add-ons are good. You can increase his knife count. You can increase certain things, like where if you hit someone 4 times, you can insta down them with his iridescent. Um, some of his things is he runs faster while throwing knives. His event lasts longer before they start to decay with the knives. His power before they start to decay, it'll last like a few seconds longer. So okay, I guess. But besides that, some of his other perks, he does have a hex crowd control. That's pretty good. Starstruck can be good with like a picking up and moving around build, like agitation, iron grip, mad grit, and Starstruck. That can be a good build. But besides all that, I think he's still here in D tier. I love him to death. I still play him. He's definitely one of the most fun killers, but one of the most aggravating at the same time. So he comes in at the second spot of D tier. In the third spot of D tier, we have the Clown, which I think is fun overall. His perks, Pop and Bamboozle, absolute gems of perks. Getting rid of 25% of a gen progress just by kicking it is amazing. Vaulting faster and then blocking the vault after is really good for faster speed killers, like say Wraith or Michael, especially Michael. His one perk that makes it a lot harder to heal in the terror radius is okay if you have distressing. If you're in a chase, then with monitor and abuse. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. His power is pretty cool, having the ability to speed himself up or slow others down at the same time. Really can mimic certain other perks like coup de grace. If someone's really slow and you're really fast, and then you go for a lunge, it can really mimic that. There you go. Like I said, I thought like you zoom so forward and so quickly as well. But I think the reason why he lands here in D tier, just because he doesn't have the ability to put a lot of pressure. He's good at chases, but again, once you get away, you can just easily heal. And even then, like around pallets, especially like stronger pallets, say old Haddonfield, certain pallets like in the forest, sea bits, around trees, it was really hard, even by slowing people down, speeding yourself up. Going around windows, he can just barely make a hit, but if you're starting off, he can be quite difficult. His add-ons are pretty good. If you hit someone with a direct bottle, I mean, now that's nerfed to, like, I think holding only 2 bottles, but you can insta-down them with an iridescent. You can hold more bottles, you can reload faster, move faster, make the effects last longer, all that good stuff. I think his add-ons are good. 2 of his perks out of the 3 are pretty good. I just think him as a whole is not that great, again, just because he cannot put that much pressure on. He's just pretty good at chases. That's about it. Moving on to the last killer in the D tier. Here we have the last classic killer, the original 3, and the very first killer on that killer list is the Trapper. I really like this guy. I've prestiged him. I've played him a lot. His perks are really good. Agitation for moving around really fast with someone on your shoulder to either get them to, say, to the basement quicker or just moving around to try and hit someone. Brutal strength to break walls, kick gens, break pallets faster by maximum at 20% is pretty good. And unnerving presence with that new Sadako perk can be an absolute gem of a build. But besides that, his traps can be good if you hide them in grass, or you with the one add-on to make them a lot darker. You can definitely hide them a little bit better in like a normal gray kind of state. But if you run out of traps and you're not setting them, he's just a dude with a machete. Like, he just goes around hitting everybody. He's like M1 killer. That's it. He could be so much better. It's just his power is not the best. You really got to use your traps to your advantage. Either because you can't put one down in a chase. People run away if you're, say, setting up in a pallet or a window. You really got to set it up first, or at least have the one add-on to speed it up, setting a trap, because then you can just set it up as fast as you can on a vault or a pallet, because then they have less of a chance to get away. He can hold more traps, or the one purple add-on, which I think is pretty good now that I've used it more, is you can start with all your traps, you put them down, but you can't pick them back up, so you really gotta use that strategic area to your advantage by putting them where you think they gotta go. Besides that, again, it really revolves around his power. It's just a game of luck. If you don't get anyone in your traps at all, then you're probably going to lose. But if you get quite a few people, then you can use Surge to your advantage. You can use Thanatophobia to your advantage. Play with your food is quite a good one. If you get your Obsession caught in a trap, you can just move around a wall, have the chase down, go back and hit them. Some of his iridescents are okay, like the one that resets itself, or the one purple that if you get caught and save yourself, you immediately go down. That one's pretty good. But yeah, I think he's going to round out the D tier, which sucks because I like this trapper, this killer a lot. But again, it really just revolves around RNG or luck or whatever you want to call it, which is just not a good thing. Moving on to the C tier. Alright, by the way, you also notice coming on roughly after this, some of the killers I have are definitely after the buff. That's because it's going to be really hard for me to go back and get footage. So I just thought, you know what, I'd use some of the old stuff. So this is pre-buff Legion and Ghostface from previously. That's why they're so bad. After this buff, they'd be definitely high B tier, even A tier possibly. They're both really good now. But yeah, this is pre-buff Legion. Their perks are Iron Maiden. You can open lockers really quickly, and if someone's in there and they leave, they get the exposed status effect, allowing you to be one-shot them. They have Discordance, if you can see if there's 2 or more people on a gen, and Mad Grit, where you hold them on your shoulder, which is really good, because you can just keep hitting and then keep attacking, and there's no cooldown, and if you hit someone, their wiggle time goes less. Add-ons are fine, the usual, makes your Fail Frenzy less cooldown, makes it last longer, makes it if you hit someone, you can see them farther with Killer Instinct. One Iridescent before had the heartbeat all around the entire map, and pallets would break if you vaulted them. And obviously the power. You hit someone, you move on, and they get injured, and they have to mend. Besides that, they're a fine killer, could be a lot better, which they are now, but before this buff, they were a lot worse. Moving on to the next. Alright, the Doctor is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just putting it in here strictly because of his perks. His perks are absolutely awful, besides Monitor and Abuse, but we're gonna get to that. Overwhelming Presence, pretty much within your terror radius, the item consumption goes down really quickly. That's really it. I mean, and not that many people use items, and when you do, there are far better perks to get rid of stuff like that, like mainly Franklin's Demise. Yeah, I just don't think this perk's worth it. Monitor and Abuse is a pretty okay solid perk. When you're in a chase, your terror radius is increased. If you run Distressing and say have someone on your shoulder with agitation, your terror radius is huge. Besides that, your terror radius is decreased by 8 meters, and your FOV, field of view, is increased by 3 degrees, which is quite big. Really solid perk overall, can be used with tons of killers. Overcharge, personally I think it's pretty bad. When you kick a generator and then someone touches the generator, they get a difficult skill check. If they fail the skill check, they lose a bunch of progress. This could be good with Huntress's Lullaby, I guess. Or maybe even the one perk Merciless Storm from the Unreal. But genuinely, I think it's pretty bad. His add-ons are okay. Some of his greens are nothing to be really good. They just kind of make your shock really weird. His add-ons can be good, making you have a fake red glare, a fake terror radius, madness quicker, that sort of thing. Fake pallets. Overall, I think he's fine. But you know what? I think there are better alternative killers, like the next one. Freddy Krueger's second to last spot of the C tier. It's pretty cool, I guess. Perks aren't really good, especially with Myers Fire Up. I really love this perk with Michael Myers, or the shape. Remember Me, pretty much that just increases the door time to open the door, which works well with his other perk, Blood Warden. If the doors are open, but you hook someone, so if you are, say, losing and you force the door to be open and you hook someone, it's blocked for 30 seconds all the way up to a minute. And if I didn't say fire up, just grants you a stack every time a gen's done, grants you a stackable bonus of literally everything. Picking up, dropping people, vaulting, damaging gens, and breaking pallets and walls. It's pretty good. His powers are fine. He can teleport. People are put in the dream world, so they kind of hear like weird sounds. They might not see you. What else? You go ahead and put down snares, which makes you slower. I absolutely hate the snares. I prefer the dream pallets, which go ahead and make a fake pallet and dropped. Doesn't do anything. You can just go right through and hit someone, which can be really, really useful for yourself. Nothing much else to say. He's an overall average killer. I usually just run an end game build with him with like, Blood Warden, Noed, the one Trickster's perk that blocks the door first, and even Remember Me sometimes, or Save the Best for Last, whichever one. Generally just an end game perk, which can be pretty good towards yourself. He's okay. We're gonna move on to the last killer in C tier though. A shame because I absolutely love the Nemesis. He's a great killer. I do think he could be so much better. It just depends on his zombies. Like, genuinely, I think he could be the best gen defender. And I know that sounds absolutely weird considering there's the hag. But if the zombies are being good, they can just walk around a gen and you can't do anything about it. Unless you want to be risk being infected, which then lets his power take over. His perks are pretty good. Lethal Pursuer for the first up to 7 to 9 seconds. You can see the people at the very start of the match, and then it's disabled. Not bad. Eruption every time you kick a gen, so you can kick every gen in the entire map. When you down someone, it loses 6. I think it's up to 8%. I could be wrong. And if someone's on the gen, they scream so you know where they are, and they get the incapacitated status effect. The cooldown gets smaller and smaller. Hysteria is fine. When a healthy survivor becomes injured by any means, or all the others injured survivors, I don't think the one you just injured included, they pretty much are with Oblivious. They don't hear your heartbeat or see your red glare for 20 seconds, which is pretty good for you. It's a fine perk. His perks are good. It's just his power is very annoying. You have a tentacle and it's very small, and then you have to hit someone and you got to keep hitting them or hit your zombies to power it up, which can take a very long time. Stage 2, it can break pallets and doors, which is genuinely pretty good. And stage 3, it gains I think like a 1.5 or just 1 single meter longer distance, which again is fine. So he is there's his tentacle. It's definitely a fine longer range killer, but there are definitely better alternatives, and he's gonna round off our C tier here. Now, obviously, you can't get the Demogorgon anymore, sadly, but whoever has him, I gotta respect it, because he is by far the most balanced killer in the game. 100%, a million percent. I absolutely don't like playing him at all. That's just my own personal opinion. It's fine. You can have your own. Remember, this is my list, and I put him at the bottom of B tier. A good passing grade, you know. He's good. His perks were pretty good before, but I guess he doesn't really have any anymore. That was Jolt, which in a 32 meter radius blows up gens for 8% if you hit him with a basic attack. Completing a gen in a 32 meter radius, vaulting locations are blocked. His other one, when you exit a gen, you were just exhausted. Obviously, those are now universal perks. He doesn't get them anymore, but they're pretty good. His abilities, he can teleport with portals that he can place down, or he can shred, which he does a giant lunge for like 450% speed and is really good. And doing that can break pallets and whatnot, and walls. Again, not my favorite killer, but by far the most balanced, and he's the start of B tier. The Slainer, or the Death Slainer, very cool. It's a cowboy with a gun, which is a harpoon gun. Oh, you wanted me to say more? How about the fact that if you hit someone and reel them in, you can just hit them, and it goes up to 18 meters. One of the greatest, longest range killers. Absolutely love him. If you hit someone and their chain breaks, they have to mend. If you reel them in and hit them, they have to mend. All about injuring people and moving on with this killer. He can be really good. Perks are fine. Gearhead, hit people, and then you break a gen, or I don't remember, but you can see their aura eventually. Dead Man Switch, hook someone, they get off a gen, the gen's blocked. Hex Retribution pretty much allows you to, every time a hex is broken, you can see someone for 18 seconds. All about this guy, though, you gotta know how to aim with a gun, so if you've played like first-person shooters, you'll be fine. This killer is absolutely awesome. But all in all, I think it ends off with, he's just a cowboy. It's awesome. The Twins, what a fun killer. Second to last in the B tier. I absolutely love him. It's not just one killer, it's two. You can switch out and become Victor, the little guy who can vault over windows and pallets, or you can become Charlotte, just a normal M1 killer. Very cool. Victor is the power after all. Her perks are fine. Really, these two. I mean, coup de grace, absolute situational. Every time a gen's done, you get a token. Every time you lunge, your lunge is increased by 70 up to 80%. Then you lose a token, that's it, so you get 5 tokens. Oppression, down to about 90 seconds at purple stage. When you kick a gen, so a total of 4 gens, because 3 other ones that are also have progress, begin regressing as well. And if a survivor's on that, they get a really hard skill check. Finally, Hoarder, 2 chests spawn extra. I think that can be up to 3. I'm not entirely sure. And pretty much when they pick up an item within 32 meters of their location, they're revealed to you. That's about it. They're really good, but their add-ons are terrible. They only have a few good add-ons. As you know, I just prestige, so you can't exactly see them. But like some of their good add-ons, Charlotte wakes up half second faster from changing from Victor. The pounce is 0.2 seconds quicker. There's also a green one that's like 0.4 or 0.6 seconds quicker. Victor can move faster with the green add-on and a purple add-on, which is really good because you need him to move really quick. His letting him go time is half a second quicker. Maybe, I guess, increasing his alert range is fine, but there's nothing really good. His iridescent add-ons are absolutely terrible, in my opinion. Or reveal, that's fine, I guess, but yeah, genuinely, their add-ons is what really makes him go down not into A tier. And we have one more killer left in the B tier. The Cannibal, also known as Leatherface or Bubba. What a good killer. I can prestige him. I absolutely love him. His add-ons are amazing, his perks are amazing, his power, so much better than Hillbilly's, it's not even funny. Hillbilly, you can hit only one target with your chainsaw. Bubba can hit a ton. First off, let's look at his perks. Knockout, not the best, but when you put someone in the dying state with a basic attack, they're not revealed to the survivors within 32 meters. And for the first 15 seconds, they're a lot slower at crawling. And they also have the blindness effect. Barbecue and Chili, one of the greatest perks in the game for killer. Every time you hook a survivor, if someone's outside 40 meters up to 32 meters, you can see them for 4 seconds. Also, you get more blood points the more you stack people, up to a bonus of 100%. Franklin's Demise, you hit someone, they drop their item for, I believe at purple, it's like 90 seconds, and then their item loses all of its charges. So if they have a pesky flashlight or a medkit, it goes away pretty fast and they lose charges, which is really good. For 32 meters, you can see it, and as it gets pinkish, reddish, you'll know that it is almost empty of its charges. His ability, his chainsaw sweep, you have like charges, which can make you move which makes you move quicker, and you just swing kind of like horizontally, so you can down multiple people at once. Some of his best add-ons are the chilies, which makes the chainsaw sweep a lot quicker. Last longer, but the knife scratches makes it move a lot quicker. So if you have the green version of this, makes you move at 3% the speed, and this, which makes you half a second longer, you can use this chainsaw for mobility, in my opinion, and you can just go forever, and it's such a great add-on. His iridescents are nothing to get mad about. You can consume all of your charges very quickly, you lose some speed, half a second longer. Hitting your survivor, you get all your charges back. You have a really longer tantrum. You can see survivors, broken status effects. Drops the items, like a mini Franklin's, lots of stuff. Genuinely, I think he's a great killer. I just don't think he's good enough to be an A tier, because A tier and S tier, you know, are the pinnacle of this game. But he's just at the top of B tier, in my opinion. The Huntress, arguably the best long-range killer in the game, unless the next killer you say is a long-range killer. Besides that, best long-range killer in the game. You throw a hatchet, you hit someone, they go down a health state. Pretty simple. Perks, not that good in general. You can see if someone's in the basement. Bloodlust gives you undetectable status. And a hex, which pretty much if someone messes up a skill check, it is a lot bigger of a penalty. Fun to play overall. Really easy to get into. Console's a lot harder to aim, but honestly, you can get used to that easily. Again, very fun to play. Easy builds to make up. And just in general, one of the greatest killers in this game, and the best long range, in my opinion. The Cenobite, roughly, you know, middle of A tier or so. Great killer, great power. Let's just go over his perks real quick. Deadlock, when a gen's completed, the highest progressed gen. Block for between 20 to 30 seconds. Hex Python, every time you hook someone, a dull totem becomes the hex. And the survivors has the oblivious status effect, and they can see it up to 24 to 16 meters, I believe. And for the first 90 seconds, they can only cleanse it. So if they go to the way not to cleanse it, they just can't hear your heartbeat or see your red glare. Amazing. Scourge Hook, Gift of Pain. Honestly, a weird one. I don't use this perk too much. But when a survivor is unhooked from the white or Scorch Hook, they suffer from the hemorrhage and mangled effect until they're fully healed. And the first time the survivor is healed, they suffer a 7% penalty to healing and repairing actions until healed again. Fine. His power allows you to move a chain and attach to someone, getting them like 3 chains attached to them so they can't move or they can't dead hard. They can put on pallets and blow windows, but very slowly. And then over time, if no one solves the cube, then they get what's called a chain hunt, where they slowly all get chains attached to all the survivors. Which, if you then hit them with your own chain, just like that, then it can definitely make them very slow. But of course, there's a cube that they can find to fix it. Blah blah blah. Get rid of the chain hunt. You can find the cube to do all sorts of things, like make yourself undetectable, or make the chain hunt speed up. There are add-ons that can make the chain hunt speed up by a few seconds. His one iridescent gets rid of a chain when you use your power, but it injures the survivor longer distances of the chain to go or longer distance to cast the chain. Nothing really other noticeably, but if you can play him right with a good build, me personally, Hex Plaything, Hex Retribution, Hex Ruin, and Deadlock or Eruption, one of those two. Absolute good build. Maybe you could even throw in Undying instead, although really Hex build, very risky, so that's why I like having Deadlock. But in general, very good killer, very fun. He's gonna go right here in A tier. Second to last here in the A tier, we have the Oni. Very cool killer, isn't he? Look at him. He is like a demon kind of monster thing. His perks, really weak about him. His power is amazing. His one perk, Xantian Tactics, is okay. As it gets to purple, I think it goes up to 32 meter range, kind of like the one Kate perk where you can see pallets, breakable walls, vault locations, all that stuff. I guess that's okay, especially if you run Blood Favor, the Hex. Blood Echo, when hooking a survivor, all the other injured survivors just get hemorrhage, so they bleed and they're exhausted. I guess that's like kind of to counteract Dead Hard, or I guess others perks like Balance Landing or Relief, I guess. Nemesis, anytime a new survivor becomes the obsession, or pretty much just hits with a DS, or the one perk where they have to heal you, they get the oblivious status effect, and you see them for 4 seconds. Not very big, I guess. His perk though, or perk power, pretty much you collect blood as blood orbs, or just a bunch of blood when you hit a survivor, eventually going into a wrath, where you can speed around, and some add-ons add duration to the speeding around, or you can move quicker, you turn quicker. And you can Demon Strike, which allows you to one-hit the survivors, which is pretty good, especially when you're moving that fast. Turning is very hard, but honestly, once you get used to it, it's not a big problem at all. He's very good. He's a very hard killer. There you go, difficulty. Other add-ons are noticeable that he can, let's see here. Yep. When you hit someone, you get more blood orbs. They drop blood a lot quicker. When they jump, crouch, or anything, they lose a lot more blood orbs. The consumption when downing survivor is less with the ability. So this iridescent is really bad. Survivors see the blood orbs and collect it to get to a 3 second you can see them, but the blood orb goes away, so you don't get it. The whole point of being the Oni is you get the most blood. Yeah, move quicker, decreases time to activate it, that sort of thing. Very good add-ons overall, and he's going to be the second to last in the A tier. Moving on to the final A tier. This one might be extremely controversial, but the Blight, I do think, just barely scrapes it out of the A tier. You're also going to notice there's a lot of killers I haven't talked about, and you're going to see why right after this for Honorable Mentions, and you might be like, Honorable Mentions, you'll see why. But the Blight, absolutely amazing killer. I just don't think it scrapes into the S tier with this list. If, spoiler alert, if I had all the killers, he'd be S tier. But this is why he's an A tier. I gotta balance it out a little bit more for me personally. Awesome. He can go really fast, between 5 and 7 tokens. He just zooms forward. Abilities to turn faster, have a longer slam duration when you hit something. What else can you do? You can go faster. Every time you hit something, you can also just ramp up speed. Perks, Hex Blood Favor if you hit someone. Pallets are blocked. Dragon's Grip or whatever on the you break a gen, and then obviously it comes yellow, and I think if someone completes like a great skill check or something, they get exposed. I don't know. It's not very good. I can't even remember the last perk. It's fine, Blight, but top of A tier. Absolutely love this killer. You can make so many good builds, especially using like hexes, like Hex Ruin, Hex Undying, Hex Noed, all in all. But again, end game specifically, when you're like maybe already have one or two people dead, very easy to find people from just going around from maybe the last three gens, gen to gen to gen. With the speed, literally, it's just a Sonic that puts like some sort of like syringe into him. Anyways, moving on to the S tier right now. Okay, speed round. I mentioned how I didn't have all the killers. I played a lot of Artist Pig. I played against, sorry, a lot of Artist Pig, Spirit, Play, Amp Pig, and Artist. All the Dredge, he's new, whatever. Dredge, maybe C tier. Artist A tier. Pig, E tier. Spirit S tier. Plague A tier. Maybe high B tier. That's it. I don't have them. I haven't played against them. But honorable mention. That's where I would put them. Moving on to the S tier. Okay, this is by far probably my most controversial killer location. I'm putting Michael in the second spot, second highest killer in S tier. He's very bad starting off, and I know that. He is undetectable, he's very slow, no lunge range. But his tier 2, his tier 3, his add-ons, they're all good. Tier 2, you have a slightly longer lunge, slightly longer vault. And a slightly smaller tear radius. And this video we just had, I literally had no tear radius Myers on tier 2. It was amazing. Tier 3, normal tear radius, you lunge really quickly, you vault really quickly, you can insta-hit people, you can make that infinite, or you can make that a lot longer, up to like a minute and 30 seconds. In general, running so many different perks you can run on him. Many gem perks like Thanatophobia, Jolt, Pop goes the Weasel. You can have Hex perks like Ruin. Save the best for last. His own perk is really good. Probably the best out of his all perks. Like Save the best for last. Every time you hit someone that's not the obsession, 5% cooldown when you hit something. Play with your food. You chase the obsession, then run away. 5% stack to speed. Dying Light, not very good. It just kind of like disrupts the obsession. It just makes the obsession really good. Disrupts everybody else. It's fine. That perk's not the best. But besides that, he can run so many different perks together, so many different add-ons that can make him stay in tier 1, tier 2, tear radius smaller, tear radius bigger, faster way to get up to tier 2 and 3. I think by far, he's definitely my favorite killer. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit biased. But again, if you know how to play him, if you use good perks, if you use good add-ons, and if you can get out of tier 1, or if you're just doing a meme build, you can use tier 1 with all meme accessories. In general, by far the second greatest killer in the game. You all know what the first one is. Again, that one's just kind of normal to see as the first spot. Again, this one is biased, but Myers, very, very good. Honestly, this one, everyone knew it was going to be coming. The best killer in the game, the Nurse. You can go through walls. Obviously, you're very slow, but the perks, Thanatophobia, allows you to hit someone, and every person that's injured, hooked, or dead on the ground, they get a 5% debuff to gens, healing, all that, a door opening, all that stuff. Nurse's Calling within 24 meters, you can see people who are healing. And Whispers, I think, just makes people like louder, like grunting and whatnot. That's fine. That just kind of goes against Iron Will. Yeah, you can have up to 3 blanks to go through walls and whatnot. You can make your blanks longer. You can make them shorter. You can make them longer, less cooldown, quicker debuff after you attack and miss or hit someone. You can go ahead, do meme builds like where you go through someone, they scream and you get a bunch of blood points. It's whatever. Best part, just the power. You can go through walls, you can pull people off. You can, with your longest add-ons, you can go from one point in the map all the way to the other side and just grab someone right off a gen. It does not matter. By far, the greatest killer in the game. With that, this video is going to come to a close, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Obviously, this is definitely very biased, and also I didn't have all the killers. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not an official tier list. It's just what I chose. It's my tier list. My opinion on all the killers. Obviously, professionally, yeah, some of mine are terrible in their spots. But to me, I think this is where they all belong. It's my tier list. I want to see what you guys would say, so put them down in the comments below, what you would change, whatnot. Constructive criticism is fine. Again, this is my opinion. This is what I would do. But again, some of these killers, bias, love them, hate them, whichever ones. Some are good, some are bad. Some spots are good for them, some spots are definitely bad for them, and whatever. Hope you guys did enjoy nonetheless, though. I know this video is gonna take forever. Maybe leave a like, maybe leave a nice comment down below. Maybe hit that subscribe button, ding that little bell. See you guys next time for some more Dead by Daylight. Bye, guys.